Cuba has been about to collapse for the last 60 years. So a common narrative for at least the last 60 years, ever since Fidel and them got into power, is that Cuba is about to collapse. And the reality is that although Cuba has certainly in many ways not progressed, and perhaps in certain ways has actually regressed, the reality is that the government is resilient and has changed tactics and strategies as time has gone on, using a very pragmatic approach to the matter. For example, in the last few years, the government of Cuba has begun embracing worker cooperatives. Worker cooperatives are a brilliant idea because, as cited by Dr. Richard Wolff, they are much more resilient than corporations. And on top of that, it serves the ethos of communism, that being the equal distribution or much fairer distribution of wealth and so on and so forth. So Cuba has, the government that is, has slowly but surely moved away from the centralized state as the all-seeing eye monopoly on the means of production model that Vladimir Lenin introduced. Marxist-Leninism, after all, was the influence upon Fidel Castro, and has moved more towards later socialist and communist thinkers, such as Louis Althusser and so on and so forth, who emphasize what Marx emphasized, which is worker cooperatives, and a kind of tandem between the state and civil society. So rather than the state being this all-seeing behemoth, we see a much more delicate negotiation between the state and civil society. And so that is the reality of Cuba. Now, are there drawbacks? Have there been mistakes? Could things have been done better? Of course, there's always that, element to anything, any enterprise, any endeavor, anything worth pursuing in life is always going to have those things, including risks and so on and so forth. However, the recent narrative that Donald Trump is peddling in an attempt to sort of play hardball in terms of negotiations, a man who, by his own admission, is notorious for getting people to do work, to deliver some sort of service or render some sort of product, and at the end, renegotiates the price or just downright refuses to pay them, and is proud of it. And he calls this good business. So these sort of strong-arm businessman New York-style tactics he brings to the realm of geopolitics. And the reality is that geopolitics is very different to real estate. And the fact of the matter is that Cuba is much more resilient than Donald Trump is claiming.